What if I told you that the most successful people in the world, CEOs, athletes, artists, Nobel Prize winners, all share one invisible superpower that most of us completely ignore every single morning?
And what's wild is that this superpower isn't talent, it isn't money, it isn't even hard work.
It's something you do every single day without even thinking about it, your daily routine. And today, we're going to show you exactly how talking about your routine in English can transform not just your language skills, but your entire life.
Welcome back to Easy English Learning. I'm James.
And I'm Lily. And if you've ever struggled to answer the simple question, what do you do every day in English? Don't worry. By the end of this episode, you're going to speak about your daily routine with total confidence, natural vocabulary, and real personality.
Lily, let's be honest. Most English learners think talking about daily routines is boring. Like, I wake up, I eat breakfast, I go to work. That's it, right?
That's exactly what most people think, and that's exactly why most people stay stuck at a basic level. Here's the truth. Your daily routine is one of the most rich, most personal topics you can discuss in English. It tells people who you are, what you value, and how you think.
Completely agree. When someone asks you about your routine, they're not just making small talk, they're opening a door to a real conversation. And if you walk through that door with the right words, the right phrases, the right energy, you immediately sound like a fluent, confident English speaker.
So today we're going to go deep. We're going to talk about why this topic matters so much, how native speakers actually describe their routines, what mistakes learners make, and how you can take your English to a completely new level just by mastering this one area.
And here's a little challenge for you right now. Think about your morning. From the moment you open your eyes, what do? Hold that thought. We're coming back to it.
James, why do you think talking about daily routines is so important for English learners specifically?
Great question. Think about it this way. When you meet someone new, whether it's at work, at school, in a coffee shop, at a party, one of the first things people ask is, "So, what's your day like?" Or, "What do you usually do?" It's one of the most common real-life conversation topics that exists.
And yet it's one of the most under-practiced topics in English classes. Most textbooks give you a list of vocabulary words, wake up, have breakfast, commute to work, and that's it. No context, no personality, no flow.
Right, and then the learner goes into a real conversation, someone asks them about their day, and suddenly their mind goes blank. Not because they don't know the words, but because they never practiced putting those words into a real, natural human conversation.
That's such an important point. There's a huge difference between knowing vocabulary and being able to use it fluidly. And daily routine is the perfect training ground because it's about your life, your actual experiences. Nobody knows your routine better than you do.
So when you practice talking about it in English, you're not just learning a language, you're learning to express yourself. And that confidence, that feeling of, I can say this, I can share this, spills over into every other area of your English.
Exactly. Now let's get into the actual language. James, walk me through your morning routine, but talk about it the way a native English speaker would, naturally, with detail, with personality.
Okay, so my alarm goes off at 6:15. I usually hit snooze once, just once, I promise, and then I'm up by 6:30. I like to start the day slowly, so I'll lie in bed for a few minutes, just thinking, planning, kind of easing into the day before the world gets loud.
I love that. Notice what James just did there. He didn't just say, I wake up at 6:30. He painted a picture. The world gets loud. That's an image. That's emotion. That's storytelling.
And then I'll head to the kitchen. I'm a big coffee person, so making coffee is almost like a ritual for me. I grind the beans fresh, wait for the water to heat up just right. It sounds small, but that 10 minutes of making coffee feels like it belongs entirely to me.
That is so relatable. And again, look at the language. It belongs entirely to me. That phrase tells us so much about how James values his morning. Now, Lily's morning is very different.
Tell us, Lily, what does your morning look like?
So I'm what you'd call a morning person, like genuinely. My eyes open before my alarm even goes off. I'm usually up around 5:45, and the first thing I do is stretch. Not a full workout, just this long, slow, whole body stretch in bed that takes about 2 minutes, and it just wakes everything up.
See, that detail wakes everything up. That's vivid. You can almost feel it.
Then I do about 20 minutes of journaling. I write down whatever's in my head, thoughts from the night before, things I'm looking forward to, things I'm worried about. It clears the mental clutter before the day starts. And then I'll go for a walk outside, even if it's just 15 minutes. That fresh air first thing in the morning is genuinely a game changer for my mood and my focus.
Here's something fascinating that I think most people don't realize. Researchers at Harvard Business School found that people who set intentional morning routines report significantly higher levels of productivity and emotional well-being. But here's the part that surprises most people. It's not about waking up at 5 a.m. It's about consistency and intention, whatever time that is for you.
That completely changes the narrative, doesn't it? Because there's this cultural idea, especially in English-speaking countries, that if you don't wake up at the crack of dawn, you're somehow lazy or unambitious. But that's just not true.
Exactly. And in English, you'll hear people talk about routines in very different ways depending on their lifestyle. Some people say, I'm a morning person. Others will say, I'm more of a night owl. And both are completely valid. The key is having a routine that works for you.
Let's talk about some really useful phrases now, because this is where a lot of English learners can level up immediately. Instead of just saying, I do this, then I do that, native speakers use what we call transition language to make the routine flow naturally.
For example, instead of saying, I wake up, then I shower, then I eat breakfast, you might say, once I'm up, I head straight to the shower. By the time I'm dressed, I'm usually ready to eat something light.
Beautiful. Once I'm up, by the time, usually, tend to, these little connectors make your English sound so much more natural and intelligent.
Other great ones are, as a rule, I try to, or more often than not, I, or on most days, I'll. These phrases show habit without sounding mechanical.
And here's one that English learners almost never use but sounds incredibly natural. I've gotten into the habit of. So instead of I read before bed, you say, I've gotten into the habit of reading for about 30 minutes before I turn the lights off.
Instant upgrade. Let's talk about the afternoon and evening now, because a lot of learners focus only on the morning and then forget about the rest of the day.
Which is such a missed opportunity. Your afternoon and evening routines are full of rich vocabulary and interesting conversation. For example, do you have a lunch routine, James?
Honestly, my lunch habits are kind of all over the place during the week. Sometimes I'll eat at my desk if I'm in the middle of something, which I know isn't ideal. But on better days, I try to actually step away from work, get some air, maybe walk to a nearby cafe. It's that mental reset in the middle of the day that keeps me going.
Mental reset. I love that phrase. It's so useful in everyday English, and it applies to so many situations, not just lunch breaks. Anytime you take a short break to recharge, you can call it a mental reset.
And then my evenings, I'm pretty intentional about them. I try to stop looking at work emails by around 7. After that, it's personal time. I might cook dinner, which I actually really enjoy. It's almost meditative. Or meet a friend, or just watch something on TV and completely decompress.
Decompress is another excellent word for English learners. It means to relax and release the stress of the day. You'll hear this constantly in natural American English. I just need to decompress after that meeting. Perfect phrase.
Okay, Lily, let's talk about something important. What are the most common mistakes English learners make when talking about their daily routines?
Oh, there are a few big ones. The first, and this is probably the most common, is using the wrong tense. When you're talking about your regular habitual routine, you use the simple present tense. I wake up at 7. I take the bus to work. I usually have dinner at 8. Not I am waking up or I was taking the bus.
That's such a fundamental point. The simple present is the home base for talking about routines, and a lot of learners drift away from it without realizing it.
The second mistake is being too vague. Just saying I exercise or I study without any detail makes the conversation feel flat. Native speakers add specifics. I go for a run in the park near my house, usually about 4 kilometers. That extra detail makes you sound so much more natural.
And it makes the conversation so much more interesting because now the other person can respond to that detail. Oh, which park? Do you run alone or with someone? The specifics open doors.
Exactly. Mistake number 3, and this is a subtle one, is not using adverbs of frequency naturally. Words like always, usually, often, sometimes, rarely, hardly ever. These words are everything when talking about routine, and learners often either overuse always for everything or forget these words entirely.
So instead of I go to the gym, you say I try to go at least 3 times a week, or I rarely skip my gym session on Monday mornings. See how much more human that sounds?
Here's a thought-provoking question for everyone watching right now. When was the last time your daily routine actually changed, like genuinely shifted? Because here's something most people never think about. Our routines are not fixed, they evolve. And in English, describing that evolution is a sign of advanced fluency.
That's such a great point. In English, we have beautiful ways to describe routine changes. I used to wake up at 9, but lately I've been getting up around 6. I started meditating in the evenings. It's something I only picked up recently. That used to construction, I used to do this, is one of the most powerful tools for talking about change over time.
And it instantly adds depth to your conversation because now you're not just describing what you do, you're sharing your journey, your growth. And people connect with that on a very human level.
Let's talk about something that goes even deeper, the psychology behind why routines matter so much and how understanding this can actually help your English fluency.
Ooh, I love this angle.
So there's this concept called decision fatigue. The idea is that every decision you make throughout the day costs mental energy. And when you automate your routine, when certain things just happen on autopilot, you free up that mental energy for the things that really matter.
And this connects to language learning in such a direct way. When you have a consistent study routine, when you know that every day at 7 p.m. you're going to spend 30 minutes with English, that consistency builds momentum, and momentum builds fluency.
Precisely. The most fluent English speakers aren't necessarily the most talented, they're the most consistent. Their routine of exposure, practice, and reflection is what sets them apart.
And here's the expert level insight. When you talk about your routine in English, don't just describe the actions, talk about the feelings. I love how quiet the house is at 6 in the morning. There's something really satisfying about finishing my workout before the day begins. I always feel a little more grounded after my evening walk. Emotions make language come alive.
This is the difference between intermediate English and advanced English. Intermediate says what happens. Advanced says what it feels like.
So here's your practical challenge for today. Tonight or tomorrow morning, I want you to sit down and write out your full daily routine in English. But don't just list the activities. Add times, add details, add feelings, add frequency adverbs. Make it a real description of a real day in your life.
And then, and this is the important part, say it out loud. Record yourself on your phone. Listen back. Notice where you hesitate, where you stumble, where you feel confident. That recording is your baseline, and every week re-record it. Watch yourself improve in real time.
That exercise alone, if you do it consistently, will dramatically improve your English fluency, your vocabulary, and your confidence in conversation.
You know, Lily, I want to share something personal for a second. When I was first learning to have real conversations in English, not just passing tests, but actually connecting with people, the breakthrough came when I stopped trying to be perfect and started trying to be real.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, I stopped rehearsing textbook sentences and started talking about my actual life, my actual mornings, my actual habits, my actual feelings about my day. And the moment I did that, the moment I brought my real self into the language, everything clicked.
That's so powerful because language isn't just grammar and vocabulary. Language is identity. It's the way you share who you are with the world. And your daily routine is one of the most honest windows into who you are as a person.
So don't be afraid to share it. Don't be afraid to say, honestly, my mornings are a mess right now and I'm working on it. That kind of authenticity in any language is magnetic.
As we wrap up today, let's do a quick summary of everything we covered. First, talking about your daily routine is not boring. It's one of the most powerful and personal conversation topics in English.
Second, use natural flowing language, connectors, transition phrases, adverbs of frequency. These small tools make a massive difference in how fluent you sound.
Third, add detail and emotion. Don't just say what you do. Say when, how often, and how it makes you feel. That's what takes your English from average to excellent.
Fourth, avoid the common mistakes. Use simple present for habits. Be specific, use frequency adverbs naturally.
And fifth, be consistent. Build a routine around your English practice, just like the routines we talked about today. Consistency is the engine of fluency.
And six, be real. Talk about your actual life, your real mornings, your actual evenings, your genuine feelings about your day. That authenticity in any language is magnetic.
If this episode helped you, if it gave you even one new phrase, one new idea, one moment of, oh, I can say it that way, then please do us a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to Easy English Learning if you haven't already, and drop a comment below telling us one thing about your daily routine. In English, of course.
We read every single comment, and we love seeing your English in action.
Because here's the thing, you started watching this video, you stayed until the end, you didn't give up, And that right there is already part of a winning routine.
So keep going, keep showing up, keep using your English even when it's imperfect, especially when it's imperfect, because that's how fluency is built. One real conversation, one real moment, one real day at a time.
From James and me, thank you for being here. Take what you learned today, put it into your world, and we'll see you in the next episode of Easy English Learning.
Take care of yourselves, and remember, your routine is your story. Tell it well.